after the soccer episode.
Yeah, soccer. Big soccer stuff.
Big soccer day.
No. I don't know if anybody watched on the weekend. Yeah, goal. Good things on the weekend. If you're a golf fan out there, the Masters just happened. You know, even
that'll be last weekend for them.
Last weekend for you guys.
Last weekend for them.
But
because they're gonna be watching it on Friday.
Yeah, they are.
So it's last weekend for them.
It's one of those things that even if you're not a golf fan, it definitely is a cool thing to see because it happens once a year. And I don't know. I know a lot of non-golf fans that pay attention to the Masters.
Some.
That's cool. I mean, they're talking
a lot of things. Like one thing happens a year. Do you pay attention to the Boston Marathon every year?
No.
It's incredibly loud in this room, don't you think?
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Hot? This is hot? This is on. Okay.
Yeah, we are live.
We need like a live above our head
Live
here.
sign.
Yeah. So, I hear we're talking about the moon landing.
I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it with our next guest. I reckon.
I guess so.
Speaking of that, we'll cut to that. Yep.
Okay, so we have a list of conspiracies.
But first, we're here with Avery Warner.
Resident schizo.
You can get a little closer, get to the mic.
You schizophrenic?
A little bit.
It's all right.
It's all right. We all got a little bit of it.
Oh yeah. So, wow, there's a lot of stuff up there.
Yeah. So,
what's MK Ultra?
MK Ultra was a little government test thing. I'm bad at speaking. It's
sorry.
You know, a government plan where they wanted to learn new methods of interrogation, like so they grabbed Canadians and Upper Americans and just kidnapped them and.
Oh, that's what's up.
Psychedelics on them,
Listen,
LSD, you know.
Yeah.
If you got to get something done, just go.
Go
upstairs.
No, we can't condone violence.
Go to Canada. What's in Canada?
Well, let me just say, it's certainly interesting.
I don't even know what's in Canada. But the
not
next
Americans.
one. Oh, you're all right. Next one. Walt Disney's Frozen Head.
Let's just talk about it a little bit.
Well, I didn't really know to talk about the Canadian one.
Canadian one?
What is the possibility that that's true? It says possibility, big hypothetical. So that's like a complete guess. People are just making that up.
MK Ultra?
Yeah.
That one's confirmed to be true. There's multiple lawsuits involving them.
Really?
Yeah.
So who's suing
some of these are
them?
true, not conspiracies.
So who's suing them?
There was a couple people.
It's like a class action lawsuit?
Yeah, that sued them over like the damage that they did.
Oh wow, it's actual victims. That's kind of crazy.
And so what they're doing is just taking people essentially and
like
testing out their torturing methods against these people.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if
that happens a lot of times where they take people that back then they would say are like not useful to society, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And do things to them that, you know, is horrible.
Well, I don't know if you know, was it in civil court or?
Oh yeah, it was civil court. It was kind of
So this government can't be held liable if it's just money.
Civil court's one of those things that like even if it says you're guilty, there's a lot of things that can point to you're not being guilty, but you're. I don't know, civil court.
Well, in civil court, all you need to do is just convince the jury.
Yeah,
it's essentially somebody's word against the other. You need less evidence in a civil court than you do.
Probably why they won.
Yeah, but I do find
in their tracks.
Oh yeah, I do find it very odd that they did it through civil. Why not just get it through? You know.
Probably tried.
Who do you charge?
The government.
The entire government?
I don't know.
Exactly. Can we explain real quick?
That's definitely kind of. Did you know when this happened? Like
in the 1970s.
Oh wow.
That's when everything happened. Seemed like it.
I feel like 1970s was.
Okay, here's.
There's a big one on here that
Walt
I would like
Disney's
to talk
head
about.
is not frozen.
Walt Disney's head. That one's a classic. You know, the idea that good old Walt Disney's head underneath.
I don't think so.
You think it's like a little orb under Disney World, or?
I think
it's running the entire theme park.
So he is Disney. Well,
yes,
I mean, obviously,
technically, but I think so. I mean, there's a few like weird spots in Disney, like the main area. I don't know what to talk about for that one. It's kind of just an idea.
Yeah. That it could be real, but we don't know.
I mean, you can't.
Because you can never prove it, can you?
Can't prove it.
I can't prove that I was late this morning. Okay, JFK assassination. Now, the documents just came out.
Yes, they did.
We know now that Lee Harvey Oswald was known by the CIA before the assassination.
Yes.
Do you think it was set up by the CIA?
A little bit, yeah.
Do you have another theory for us?
They were, like, in the documents it talked about how Cuba, like, went up to Oswald and, like, the Cuban government.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they talked about because it didn't, like, go over that, but that's suspicious.
Well, what I
That is
saw
weird.
is there's the big thing going around, and it's been going around since it happened, and people saying, you know, Oswald was a poor Well, the person saying that, but first of all, Oswald wanted to be a part of the Soviet Union. He kept trying to go back, and even when he went to the Soviet Union, they had a big eye on him, and so did the
Seems
CIA.
like a true patriot.
Well, the person that claimed that Oswald was a poor was somebody from the KGB.
Oh, wow.
So if you were working with Lee Harvey Oswald in the Soviet Union, didn't want people to know, why would you say, oh yeah, he's a great So it's a perfect
Yeah.
reasoning why he would be with the KGB. No, you would lie and say, no, he's a horrible, he's horrible at it. What's crazy is that in a lot of the JFK documents, there's stuff that like mention JFK, but like also talk about some other crazy things that they had to release. Like, you know, have you heard of truth tapes?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they had the truth tapes that they were playing, essentially propaganda and radio stations down in Central America, like talking up the United States, and it was just fake news to make them think highly of the United States and to prevent communism from spreading there. That's what they said. So it's a little crazy.
Now, I want to know, I've seen it all the time. Were there two?
I think
That's
so.
too
The shot.
I mean, like two went through them apparently. So it's
If you look at the, it looks like one comes from one way.
No, I'm not joking. Like, I'm serious. Like,
No
if you
one's
go on-
no one's debating how many hit his body.
It's not
Dude,
the two thing. It's
one
the
looks
direction
close range.
that it came from.
Apparently, I don't know that video. Can we pull it up? No, I don't know if we can put it on here, but the video when I watched it last, like probably like half a year ago, I remember seeing like one of them just be like, I don't know, it just seemed like a very close impact. Like it's like someone in the car with him.
No, you'd be able to easily see that. I personally wouldn't debate the one. Excuse me. Hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
I wouldn't debate the one or the distance. I wouldn't debate it. I'd say, oh, that's true. I'd say that Lee Harvey Oswald was at the top of the building, and he was the only person up there. He was the only person that was actually, scheming.
Now my question is,
The assassination.
if he was an easy target for people to be like, that's him, could it not be someone else that did it? And he took the place, took the fall. I mean, this guy's
It's
part
just
of
that
the
it's just that he
KGB,
had the
I mean,
weapon.
whatever he is.
He had the weapon. I think they found the casings up there in the building,
Yeah.
and so I think it's pretty clear Lee Harvey Oswald the gun.
I will say the JFK assassination has probably some of the most. The other one I can think of has a lot more, but it's not really. It's a very sensitive topic to talk about. But the JFK definitely has a lot of conspiracy theories. A lot. Just a lot of things around it that, back then if we had better film on it, we could probably.
You definitely, of course.
We could probably know a lot better.
You would
but
be
with
able to
how
do.
choppy that film is. It just looks so odd. So it's so hard to dictate what actually happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, even that one film, or even if it were modern day in general, there'd be everybody would have their phones out. There'd be, surveillance cameras everywhere.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Like, I think with modern film, we would, be able to dispel that one theory, stuff like that, where we could know very easily by seeing, like, if we had 1080p of that. Not that we want that, but if we did, then we would know what happened pretty quick.
But even if you got another angle from behind, or even like the other side, it would give you, and in modern day you would have that, it would give you more insight into
And you have to
the
think,
movement of what's going on.
in modern day, people are just holding their phones out in every angles. And every time you see stuff like that, like for instance, the Trump assassination attempt. There's like 17 different angles.
Yeah.
I remember going online, like checking every time. There's like a new angle popping up, and it's just kind of crazy that if this happened, in our time, really wouldn't be a conspiracy theory about that.
Now,
But
no, but what I see about the JFK stuff, JFK is so interesting. I mean, that one's just so interesting to me. But
what's Project Bluebeam?
now that the documents, Project Bluebeam's a good one. I don't even really remember, but I just remember it's a good one. He definitely knows what it is.
Yeah, Bluebeam is aliens. The government used Project Bluebeam is the government trying to like fake an alien like encounter.
Oh wow.
Yes, using like holograms.
Yes.
Drones.
Yes,
That's
this
crazy.
is the government fakes an alien invasion. The alien saves the world, and then we try to get everybody to worship this foreign being to create a new world order, essentially like a one world government.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of crazy. No, but it's not. It's something I really was fascinated by when I was like a little kid? The Illuminati. And I want to know some theories you have on Illuminati because I want to know.
Illuminati.
It's rough waters.
It's mostly.
Is it real?
Probably, yeah. I think a lot of them, you look at news anchors, and they all have like the same headlines, same story, as if they're all like orchestrated by the same people.
Right.
And same with like politicians stuff.
Do you think the Illuminati runs the world from under the world?
Not from.
hypothetically.
Actually, yeah. Hypothetically, I'd say so. Yeah.
Well, I think there's different. Like when you talk about Illuminati, I think we're probably talking about like. It's not called the Illuminati.
Oh, no, they definitely say the pyramid.
They're what?
They say in the pyramid.
No, there are organizations that are huge that run a lot of things. It's kind of crazy.
Big tech, big medicine.
Most like things are owned by like 5 companies overall. Like
now, is there one on this list that you know the most about that you have the strongest theory about?
There's Epstein. I know a lot about that one.
No, Epstein.
That's
Always
a good
goes
one.
back to Epstein.
I mean, is there really theories behind this?
Like how he
Yes. Absolutely.
Like how.
Oh no, he definitely didn't commit suicide.
Yeah.
He's on some random island. He may not be dead.
No, that's.
I think he's dead.
He's dead.
I doubt it.
He's dead. He was in a prison when it happened. But when he was killed in prison, the video surveillance happened to turn off.
Exactly.
And then
the
they
guards,
found.
mysteriously.
The guards just weren't around. It's crazy. But if you look at Epstein, I mean, it's just that whole story. I mean, you'd have to dive in. I mean, it's a while. I mean, his wife Ghislaine was essentially luring little girls to his island for him, and
interesting.
Then Epstein would essentially take these big important people, some other people we know of, actually a lot of people they know of. And if you look at, for example, Jeffrey Epstein, where he got a ton of his wealth, people say, oh, he's a New York financier. He was worth billions of dollars, but he owned like skyscrapers. So like he was good friends with the guy who owned Victoria's Secret.
Okay.
And the guy from Victoria's Secret just gave him a building, a skyscraper.
Yeah.
Just gave it to him. So that's one of the theories there. But it's just crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. And the biggest part is I think he was what was he charged with before he went the second time?
Why is like death is even more suspicious? Because like a few days like that, or it was supposed to happen after a few days, was a major court case involving him.
Well, and we look now, and the Epstein files are still not released. Donald Trump needs to come and clutch and release those.
That's kind of crazy that I don't know.
It's because they're probably on the list. Anyone who says, "Oh yeah, we're gonna release it."
Here's my thing. How do we know how do we know if he really died? Because there's a lot of, doppelgangers.
There's a lot of theories on did people really die? Like Michael Jackson, Hitler was a common one.
I don't think Michael Jackson died. Like I
Michael
really
Jackson
don't.
died. Michael Jackson
I really
died.
don't. There's this guy that's came out that's like a preacher somewhere. I don't know if we can find this editor.
You're talking about Elvis right now.
Elvis.
This is
I mean,
Elvis.
sorry, I meant Elvis. That's on me.
What's
I
the
totally
difference?
forgot. But there's this guy that came out as a preacher, and he's trying to convince people that he is Elvis. I'm not really sure if it's true or not, but
Elvis is dead. Michael Jackson is dead.
But
it is weird. But either way, he'd be dead now. So
fine.
he'd be like what 100 something.
He'd be useless by this point.
So,
but
yeah, Epstein. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's just these are so many questions. Why can't we just know?
now,
You know what
It's
I do?
because everyone who says, "Oh yeah, we're going to release it tomorrow," they're probably on the list.
Well, the biggest problem with that is that fundraisers, for example,
He was a very
and
he was known for his philanthropy,
but
which
his
is how he got many of his connections.
his illegal activities would happen on his island. So a lot of the people that are on the flight logs, or some people went, flew with him to go to a fundraiser, flew with him to go to, go from New York to Chicago. But I'd say the real bad ones you should be looking for, the people who went from his plane from New York City to his island. Like that's where the stuff was happening. Yeah. So
it's just crazy. It's crazy.
Small
So,
world.
I'm reading one of these up here, and I really don't. Excuse me, by the way. Freemasons?
yeah, can we explain that one?
Freemasons. I'm not really much knowledge. I don't know if I can say that.
It's all right. We have a really good editor on this crew,
Yeah.
so it's totally fine.
Edit that out for no extra pay.
Now,
We pay him a good wage.
yeah, I think we do.
3 pesos.
Yeah, something like that.
4 or 5. Denver
generous.
International.
That one I do know.
That's like what something's underneath the Denver airport.
Yeah, there's tunnels and how it's kind of related to Illuminati.
You know what, I've heard something about
for
that.
them. Because there's a lot of weird images of that area, like in the building. Like there's a weird Satan.
Denver
It
is a
didn't
weird
take them
place.
like an abnormally long time to build or something like that.
Yeah. And I think there's an association, the National Flight Association. I don't know what it's called, but it's weird.
Well, where would they be hiding?
So,
I
if
I mean, all these
become
the
a
Illuminati. Where
pilot-
they gotta be hiding at? They gotta be somewhere.
Yeah.
Yo,
Nice
Colorado's
place.
a great place to be because who
goes there?
goes there?
Let's talk about
What's in Colorado?
Let's talk about aliens.
Aliens? They are real
They're real, but
for sure. I mean, it's not even like we were listening to that podcast at one time, and
Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
You know Bob Lazar.
yeah.
and that was I don't know, that was fascinating to hear, honestly.
Yeah, Bob Lazar. Worked at Los Alamos Research Center, I believe. And then he moved up to what he called Area S4, which was a substation of Area 51, and right next to Area 51. And he said that there they tried to
Reverse
engineer UFOs.
And it's crazy to hear him talk about seeing something so perfect. You know what I mean? The edges be so perfect, and it's just something you never seen.
The thing is he did work at Los Alamos. His name is in there. They tried to claim that he didn't, I believe, and then they were proved wrong. So something happened there. If you look at the legitimacy, there's no proof that he worked at Area 51. I don't think no one's.
But is there
gonna be
proof
able-
of anybody
Exactly,
working there?
that's what I'm saying.
That's a real question.
But the one biggest piece of evidence that they used, this guy is serious, is that he claimed, you have your table of elements. He claimed that there's an element 115. Like your elements on your element table.
Right, you told me that.
And he claimed that this element 115, it's called 115, I don't remember what the name is, was used to power these, UFOs. And he was saying this back in the 80s, 90s, And if you look, 80s, 90s, element 115 didn't even exist then. And they were going, there's no one in element 115. Like, that's not a thing. Well, I think it was 2004, in Russia, they discovered element 115.
Wow.
And so he was saying 20 years prior, there's this element 115. It's on the element table that they're using as a power source to run these UFOs. And then everybody was saying, that's not true because it doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. Well, again, 2004 in Russia, they discovered it. Now it's on the element table.
Honestly, I really do think that, obviously they are keeping it from us. It's not like a big known secret, like an unknown
And a lot
secret.
of alien sightings are just government projects, just out and about. People see, oh, look at that. But
a lot of them, yeah. They said that, most recently, when all that stuff, people were looking up the sky and it was an airplane.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's a drone,
It's kind of like the Truman Show. You know how, he sees that, light bulb fall from the ceiling and then, he goes on the radio. A spaceship was in the air and parts are falling off. Yeah.
Yeah, with aliens, though, some of them are from here.
You think so?
Some of them are from here.
Underground?
They're from the ocean. I'm not even lying to you right now.
I remember you telling me something about that.
I have looked at this for a while. And if you look at David Fravor, the Tic Tac UFO?
Yeah.
They were in the middle of the ocean, right? They're on an aircraft carrier. He was leading his team. They're flying, I think, F-15s or something like that. And then they see this white dot. They called it Tic Tac because it literally looks like a Tic Tac in the air. Now, they have heat signals on this thing, and if you look at any airplane with the heat signal, it's going to be white and then red coming out the back, because anything we have today, you need to push something to go forward. So it's like propulsion. This thing had no heat coming out the back. It was just floating, and so they got their radar locked on it, and it's several hundreds, thousands, something like that, above sea level. Well, it began locking their radars. So it's essentially locking their signal, which is an act of war, actually. And so it's locking their radars, and so they can't lock onto it. Well, this thing starts moving, and they start chasing it. It's just going, and then like that, it's just gone.
Yeah.
And then they look at their radars, and then it is back exactly what their first position was when they saw it the first time.
That's crazy.
And it dropped at one point, from what I said. It was, I don't remember the exact number. It was hundreds or thousands above. I don't even know really feet how high that is. I think it was hundreds above sea level. Mm-hmm. And it dropped to 1 in a second.
That's really crazy.
Yeah.
And so, but you look at other people and other people that really take the time to look at this, and there's sightings of them coming out of the ocean. Mm-hmm. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I'd say if anything, before they're coming out of our atmosphere, they're from this planet. They're coming out of the ocean.
Yeah, I don't
know.
They could have a basin there, the ocean. The ocean's vast.
90% of it's unexplored.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much, Avery, for coming on the show. And
thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, we'll be back
Talked
later.
about a lot today. Very interesting.
I think so.
Okay, so we're back from our conspiracy theorist segment
with Avery Warner. It's pretty fun. Had fun.
What do you think about conspiracy theories, Josh?
I like them. They're conspiracies.
Good.
They might not be real, but they could be. You never know. So
now we're on to our tennis segment.
With two tennis players.
Icebreaker.
Awbre and I'm going to be honest, I don't know your name.
Cut that out.
Cut that out.
Now we got one out.
Awbre Cirque and Maggie Mays. Okay. Icebreaker, first question. The question that everybody has been wondering. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Starting
over
her.
here.
She's a freshman, I think.
I'm a freshman.
Yep.
I do choir.
Choir.
I'm vice president of the Bible Club.
Good stuff.
Get a clap for that one. Can we get a clap? Okay. Continue.
But do remember, this podcast goes out to millions of people around the world.
We stream on Rumble. It's live right now.
So be careful with your answers.
I like dogs.
Good.
I really like dogs.
Did you say dogs or
They
dogs?
say-
Like water dogs?
Dogs.
They say it's moving over here.
Okay. I
They say
cheer-
dogs are a man's best friend. Have you ever heard that saying?
Oh,
Continue.
okay. I cheered for all 4 years. I played tennis all 4 years.
Is it like cheer and competitive cheer?
Yeah. So like sideline and like competition.
What is the biggest difference you would say between the two of them?
I feel like I gotta limit these words, but I feel like cheer can be like really toxic and really like pushing on like your mental health, and tennis is more like fun and like just like a stress reliever.
You know, I love tennis. I actually I play tennis like all the time.
Tennis is fun.
We should 2v2, doubles round.
Well,
Yeah.
listen,
All right,
Maggie.
next segment.
if I got
we'll be
Matthew
outside.
Alzizer,
Next.
a tennis round, that'd be fun.
That would
That'd
be
be some
fun.
fun stuff.
That would be fun. We should play a little game. I like tennis.
Charades.
Monopoly.
That's practical because Monopoly takes for like 3 hours.
What grade are you in?
9th.
Freshman. Freshman coming up, and you're a senior.
I'm a senior.
So we got two different perspectives of like first year coming into tennis, and then your last year in tennis. What is your biggest? Let's say, as somebody coming up to tennis next year, maybe as a freshman, what's your biggest piece of advice? Starting.
She's
starting.
senior.
Probably like don't get on coach's bad side.
Oh.
Like I love our coach. Our coach is great. But just try and like stay on the good side and just have fun with it. Like don't take it too seriously.
That's good. I'd say that's good for any, a lot of sports. Wouldn't you say so?
Yes. Now, what's maybe a fear you had going into tennis that like you got
Well,
over?
she didn't even answer the question first.
Well, she just started playing tennis.
So yeah, so that's good. Perfect. She's the fresh, incoming experience.
All right, same question to you.
Okay, I would say bring a lot of water
Oh.
and also practice on your free time.
Today's gonna be
Yes.
hot
Yeah.
today. Today's like 80 degrees.
Yeah.
50
Yes.
degrees, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's been wonderful though. Nice sun out there, 50-mile-an-hour wind.
It's a lot of running.
Yeah, definitely practice on your own time. That's good. That's
You know
a good
what else
one.
is fun?
You know when
Pickleball.
somebody's really.
No.
Oh, not pickleball.
Often you
Yeah.
see
Pickleball.
people don't
Yeah.
become really good. They can just be naturally good, I guess. But like a lot of times they become really good when they take time on their own to practice. Now, personally, like with the stuff I do, like I practice on my own, I find it much harder. Honestly, a lot of times, 'cause
Stay
it's harder to
focused.
push yourself
Yeah.
Yeah.
to that limit. You know.
Is there? I don't even know how to phrase it. Like, what do you guys do in the off season? Maybe like keep your skills there for tennis, or like keep you in shape for the tennis season coming up.
Our coach is really good with like coming out. Like especially in the winter, we have courts at Tech that we use.
Oh, those like indoor ones.
Yeah, the indoor ones are really nice ones.
Those are pretty nice.
Yeah, so he's really good with like meeting us there and like practicing.
So he
with
helps you in the
us.
off season too.
Yeah,
That's a
That's-
good coach.
he's also writing a book right now.
Really?
So, shout
Wow.
out. Shout out
That's
that, yeah.
wonderful. What's the book called? Do you know?
No idea, but it's about like Alexander Hamilton or something.
Oh.
Yeah, shout
Okay.
out.
You know what?
Yeah, you should buy it when it comes up.
Sounds
So is he
pretty
a
cool.
history buff too?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool stuff.
Interesting.
Same question to you. What do you do to keep in shape in the off season?
A lot of cardio.
Cardio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I try to stay flexible because you gotta like move your body a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of movement. You gotta like be because with certain sports. I mean, for example, track you just straight line speed. With tennis, it's just back and forth. It's the same box constantly. I mean, how long would you say some of the games are, or the match? What do you call it? Like the big? It's a match.
It's a
and you
match,
sets in a match, right?
There's 6 sets you play.
Sets in a match. Yeah. So
you
match.
Play 3.
So how long would you say like one match is?
On average, probably like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Dang.
My longest one started at 4:30 and ended after the girls' soccer game one time.
Jeez.
So that was my longest one. But
Yeah.
What time would
So-
that be? Sorry, I'm trying to do the math in my
it was
head.
it was really late.
That's probably like a few hours, right?
Yeah, it was like
I mean, several
6 or
hours.
7.
No way, Jose. I can do that.
Yeah. It was really long.
So we obviously know you said you've been playing for 4 years. You even said you've been playing like
This
on the
is
high
my
school
first.
team, of course. Have you played before that? Like, how long have you been playing tennis total? Do you think?
This is my first time.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So are you really into it now? Now that you've started,
Yeah.
so you'd come back next year,
Well, like,
obviously.
I have a big history of badminton. Like I played forever, and I figured this is
Badminton.
the closest thing since we didn't have a badminton team.
Yeah, badminton's
Yeah.
pretty fun.
I do. Badminton's really fun, actually.
It's that one you hit it over like, bah.
Yeah, it's the one. It's the one where you have the racket and the net,
The
And
birdie.
birdie.
and you hit it over, and you're like, bah. That's how you hit it. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm a big fan of badminton, but like, I don't know. I feel like tennis is super hard.
They can't.
Like
be.
every time I play tennis, like against like people I know, they just like they kill me every time. Except him, I beat him every time.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think I've ever lost to you in a tennis match in my
I
life.
could probably beat you right now.
Art,
Go ahead and put
Excited.
a video of us playing.
put a video of me smashing it down on the court, but it's a Mario tennis where it breaks the court.
Yeah, and I'm Serena Williams.
No.
Do you
But
play?
I'm Mario and he's Luigi.
So when you guys like compete, they have singles and doubles, right? So do you guys do single or doubles, or can you do both?
You can do both, but sometimes you'll be like a doubles specialist and you'll just play doubles, but most of the time you play both.
So what do you guys do?
Both.
You,
Both.
you do both.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
have like top 6
What would you say you're better at?
doubles.
Doubles.
Yeah.
Doubles,
Less
yeah.
responsibility, more teamwork aspect.
Well, the
That's
court's
the
also
pressure.
slightly
The
bigger when
court's-
you do doubles
Yeah,
too.
the
So
court is bigger.
yeah. So
Who's the best on the team?
Right? So, like, how tennis works, you have, like, top 6. So, our number 1 is Callie Gallimore.
Callie, yeah.
And then it's Catherine Zander, and then me. And then Maggie is our number 7.
Right.
So, like, if someone's out, Maggie.
Is there something Callie does that makes her really good? Does she have a good, like, I don't know.
Her serve. Her serve
Her
is
serve is
killer.
really
It's,
good?
like,
Killer.
strong. Yeah, killer. It's, like, strong in the corner. Like, you can't really return it very well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is she ranked in, like, the district or, like, region?
I don't think so.
Do they do that?
Once districts start, but those don't start for, like, a couple weeks.
how do you guys doing? How are you guys doing so far within the season?
We're doing okay.
Yeah.
We're doing okay.
What does that mean?
I don't know. There's a lot of giggles when you guys said that.
We're doing great. Good team.
We're trying our best.
You know what? A for effort. That's what I like to say.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You know, if you put your best into something and you don't win, it's okay.
It's okay.
At least you put your all into it.
Well, it's all about. I mean, you look
It's all
at
about the mindset.
you look at multiple sports, and sometimes you just have an off season. You just got to build the team back up.
Mhm.
So even though it's your senior year, despite how far you go, you have the ability to really build the team up for somebody
Yeah.
like her for like in years in the future. So
And
that's
I like-
that's good.
I like to say that, in every sport, it's all what's between your head. Like, everything in the sport is mental. No matter what sport you play, especially tennis.
Oh, yeah. Tennis mental blocks are really, really bad.
I
Oh,
just
yeah.
like to says
They
to
get
say
really
that it's
bad.
Really mental.
Yeah.
Who's the
Everything's-
hardest team you guys have played so far?
Giles or
No, Giles wasn't too bad. I think
Is
our,
it? Never mind. Keep going.
our worst loss, I think, was Fort Chiswell.
Yeah, Fort Chiswell was
Yeah, we lost 0.
I didn't know they had tennis courts.
something like that.
Yeah, their courts are awful.
And so, how does it work scoring on a team? Like, does like one person get paired up with somebody, and then like that's one?
No, it's like so you all play like individually, and like first to 5 points wins the match. So like when we played Giles last
Doesn't it
time.
go like
But then, out of
15,
all the
30,
matches, how do you
45?
decide like Auburn wins or Fort Chiswell wins?
So it's like if 4 of our like players won, like singles, let's say top 4 singles won, but then their bottom 2 singles and all their doubles won, they would win because they would have more like wins in the whole match as a whole.
Yeah.
so they had
so
like
more
6
wins,
wins.
Mm-hmm.
Or
It'd be 5 and
More
4.
more
5
wins,
wins.
wins.
Okay, so the more wins.
Wins.
Yeah.
Wins,
So there's
wins.
9 total games.
Yes.
And then okay, that makes
Yes.
sense. Okay, last question. Unfortunately, we got to make this quick. But last question, same question we asked for everybody. One piece of advice for high school. Somebody coming up freshman year next year.
Oh, that's a hard question. Pick your battles. Don't try to do everything because you can't do everything.
Yeah.
New answer.
That's good.
New
I
answer.
actually haven't heard that.
We usually hear the same answer.
No.
Because
Well,
a lot of
that's a good
times we
answer.
hear get involved. And
Step out of your comfort zone.
Yes. That's actually a good one. We
Pick
haven't
your
heard
battles.
that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'd say make as many friends as you can.
Yeah.
Because like when you come into high school, you don't know anybody, especially people in the upper classes. And so like when you have people that are in different things and have different opportunities to like join because you know those people, So
Like try to engage and talk to people as
Yeah.
much. Yeah, that's good.
Well,
Well, a lot of times too, you're getting put. I feel like in middle school you're paired more with like your class, and here you're paired more with people from all over. So
yeah.
well, thank you guys for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been nice.
Thank you.
All right.
Today we have our teacher feature. I think it's been a little bit since we've had a teacher feature, hasn't it? It's not something we have a teacher feature.
Miss Swimmer.
Miss Wimmer. So
Miss Wimmer.
that was a few episodes ago. Today we have Miss Seidemann. Yeah, but starting off, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you teach, and just so people can maybe coming up would learn a little bit about you?
Sure. My name is Miss Seidemann. I teach choir here at the high school and at the middle school. I teach 6 through 8 at the middle school, but then
Okay.
here I have chamber choir and chorale is in the fall, and musical theater is in the spring.
What's the difference between all of them?
Great question. Chamber choir is my more advanced group, so that's the group that I will take to assessment, which is kind of like a competition.
We did
and-
band assessment one day.
Correct. It's
yeah.
very similar to band assessment. And then chorale is kind of like it's more of a mixture of grade levels, more of a mixture of skill levels. So, for instance, if a senior has never had choir before, but they want to come in, that's probably where they would go because they've never had that experience before. But also, freshmen usually go into that class as well.
Right.
And so that's good where you teach at the middle school as well. So like when they come up, like they already know you, especially if they've already been doing a lot of the activities over there as well.
That's definitely like, because I know in middle school when I was like taking band, I was like, I wouldn't mind taking band again with Mr. Hand. And
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
really
that-
fun to get the sixth graders. So I'll have eighth graders coming up next year that I have had since sixth grade, and
Yeah.
hopefully I'll have them through 12th grade.
and that'll definitely encourage them to just keep on going.
Yeah.
And that's probably good too for you because you know a lot of their skills, like what's their strengths and their weaknesses.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think overall that'd probably be better.
So, how did you know you wanted to be a high school teacher? Is there like a time where you like were like, this is what I want to do?
Well, so when you go to teacher school, you have to do some student teaching. It looks different at every college, but at RU is where I graduated from. We did 7 weeks high school, 7 weeks secondary, 7 weeks elementary. And I started with my secondary. So I was in a middle school, high school combined, similar to what we've got here. And then I ended in elementary. And it's fun, and the little kids are adorable and sweet and
Rowdy.
and rowdy, and they're up for anything. High schoolers
Right.
and middle schoolers, that's when you start to get embarrassed about things. You don't want to do anything that might be embarrassing. The elementary schoolers don't care, and so they're up for anything. I realized pretty quickly I'm not built for elementary.
Right.
I've heard that
There's-
from a few teachers.
Yeah, they're always there's just a lot of energy there, different kind of energy that I'm just not built for at that early in the morning.
Yeah.
Somehow they're always sticky, and I'm just really not interested in
Oh
that.
yeah, sugar.
But for the real reason is the music that I get to do middle school and high school is a little more advanced. That's the kind of music I like to do.
Yeah.
But especially Miss Chilcote here at our elementary school,
She's still teaching?
She is, and
Wow.
she's awesome. And if
Oh my
she
goodness.
wasn't so good at her job, then my job would be a lot harder.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm glad there are some people out there who want to do elementary.
And
Tell you
that's
what.
that's crazy because I remember. I'm sorry, I know you just you brought that up. I just remember Miss Chilcote. I had her since I was in kindergarten. That's crazy. So she's
Yeah.
been there a long time.
But you know what's crazy? They had Miss Chilka, and then there'd be another music teacher that would always alternate. There'd always be like new ones, like
Yep,
every
it's,
year.
It's because our elementary school is the biggest one in the county, and so
Oh, wow.
there's so many kids. There's not not enough music teacher for all those kids. So
That
we
makes
needed a
sense.
little extra.
Oh yeah.
And that is good to think about that Miss Chilcote, if she does a great job over there, and then when they come up in middle school, 6th grade, it kind of makes it easier as a transition into middle school, and then again you get to see them transition to high school as well. So you got a good transition there, and I'd say overall it'd probably be easier to work with them over time. And
It is.
this next question kind of confuses me, but
it's
I'm
a
sure
play. You guys having a play coming up, right?
Musical.
it just says why Cinderella.
Yeah. So our spring musical is Cinderella. A play has usually no singing. A
Oh.
musical has singing.
Got it.
So we're doing Cinderella, May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
That's a 3-day.
It is, yes. 2nd and 3rd is at 7 o'clock at night, and Sunday is 2 p.m. And then the reason I chose Cinderella, I like to choose things that the community kind of knows what it is, and also something that kids will want to come to, because if kids come, then their parents come.
Yeah. Of course, yeah, I'd say so. And if you can appeal, like I think, like you just said there, like appeal to a lot of the children, they'd be nagging, "Mom, I want to go to the musical." So, but how would you approach casting for a production?
That's a good question. So high school is a little bit different. When you're out in the real world, it's the best person gets the position, gets the character. But in high school, there's a lot of different skill levels. Some people have taken musical theater before. Some people have never done it before. So we do try and go with who's the best at the job. But also, if I see there's a student who I think that as we progress through the semester, they will get better, then maybe it's beneficial for me and them to give them a chance on that role. Right. Even if maybe their audition wasn't super great, if I think that they can get super great by the end of it, by the show, then that's a good risk for me to take.
Yeah, right. Of course. And sometimes maybe having somebody who might be a little younger or less experienced, as like somebody might be a senior and been doing it since 6th grade, that might be really like make them feel really good about it. Good about it. So,
and seniority does play a little bit into it. You know? If it's someone's senior year, we want them to have fun and have a role that they like to do. So. It does play a little bit into it. Whereas, like I said, in the real world, doesn't matter how old you are, you have to be the best at it.
Oh yeah.
So as we approach that play coming up, musical coming up.
He'll get it.
How is that going?
It's going great. We just have rehearsal this morning, so I am really, really lucky. I get to have it as a class, so I see the high schoolers every day, and so. It went really well this morning. It's going pretty smoothly. We're almost completely off book, which means their lines are memorized. And then in the afternoons, we have after-school rehearsal with the middle schoolers. That's when it can get a little bit crazier because we've got 11 high schoolers, but we have about 20 middle schoolers.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so there's a lot of bodies on the stage, and you kind of just have to figure out where they're going. Middle schoolers, it's like herding blind cats. They don't really know where to go. They need a lot of direction. So the after-school rehearsals take a little bit more energy, but it's going really well.
That's great.
Now, would you say the music is similar to the original cartoon version? Is it kind of...
So there's Disney's Cinderella, which is what most people are probably familiar with. But this is Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. Rodgers and Hammerstein is a really famous musical theater duo. So they wrote a lot of stuff. For instance, The Sound of Music, they wrote that. That's a really famous musical. And this version is very, very different. The story's the same. She's got a step family. She goes to the ball. She loses her shoe. She finds the prince. That story's the same, but the music is completely different from Disney's Cinderella. For instance, the movie version of this one had Whitney Houston and Brandy and Bernadette Peters in it. Really famous singers, and it was really, really different than the Disney Cinderella. It actually came out after the Disney Cinderella, and they wanted like a fresh take on it.
It's good. Change it up a little bit, and yeah.
So, I've heard there's a fundraiser going on.
There is a fundraiser.
Do you want to tell us in the podcast about what that's going on?
I would love to tell the podcast what's going on. So this is our last week of the fundraiser. We're doing a Snap fundraiser. It's all over Facebook. It's all over Instagram. If anybody wants the link, I'll send it to them. All of our students have the link.
We could probably even put the link in the description below.
Awesome. I'll send that to you so that we can have
We have millions of viewers on each episode. So
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
So
I'm sure you'll have someone there. But we are looking to get to $5,000, and we are pretty close. And so by next Monday, when our fundraiser ends, that's where we'd like to be.
So what's the fundraiser for? Is there like equipment that you guys would like?
Yeah. So for the musical, it costs money to put on a show. So we've had things built. Kratz and his students have actually built some really cool stuff, some really cool set pieces for the show. Costumes aren't cheap. Props, you have to buy all sorts of crazy props that you didn't think of before. Right. So that costs money. And then the rest of the money, I guess, would go straight into our choir program, take us on field trips. We have actually 2 students who made it to the All-State Honors Choir.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Izzy Simmons and Daisy Lane will be going next weekend actually to Richmond, and they'll sing with hundreds of other kids at the All-State Honors Choir.
That's pretty cool.
But it's not cheap to go to Richmond,
Oh, yeah.
especially for 3 days, so the money also helps with that.
Yep, we'll definitely put that in our description, and we'll
Below.
try to get that on our socials. So
Okay.
you guys there. But we appreciate you coming on. Sorry, it's just you're very short.
That's okay.
But we appreciate you coming on and telling us a little bit about our choirs and especially the musical coming up. It should be interesting. I can't wait to hear about it. So
Awesome.
thank
Thanks,
you for
Jeff.
coming on.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.